Hello everybody, lovely to see you all. It's been such ages, it's been such a long time, hasn't it? It's a good start, isn't it? Such ages. I'll leave it in. So it's been quite a while, hasn't it, since I've been done a podcast. Various reasons for that. Life has just got in the way, really. Biggest thing that happened was earlier on this week, my dad had a stroke. He's doing okay. He's actually, the doctor said he's been really lucky. Are you coming to say hello, are you? This is Lily. Come on, Lily. There. Not staying for long though, are you? No. Want to go and explore. Well, off you go. Put you down that way. Yeah, he was incredibly lucky. It was only a mild stroke. Physically, he's actually fit and well. Cognitively, he's still having some problems. He's very confused. My poor mum was chasing him around, you know, just while he's convinced he's got to go to work or something. You know, he's been retired many years. So that's all a bit worrying and a bit stressful. And they live up in Scotland, and I live down, you know, in the east of England. So I'm quite a long way away. But we're keeping in touch with each other, and my brothers are really brilliant as well at keeping in touch, and they live a bit closer. But yeah, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? You know, when your parents get older and, you know, they're not the same as they used to be, and you know the inevitable decline is coming, and it's just really hard. You just think your parents are going to go on forever until they don't, you know. So yeah, I'm very lucky, really. I'm nearly 52. I've still got both my parents, and they're both hale and hearty up until earlier this week. So you know, got a lot to be thankful for. But yeah, he's hoping that he's back on his feet soon. So yeah, that put me out of sorts. I was going to do a podcast much earlier this week. Would still have been a long time since the last one, you know, but that kind of, it just threw everything all out, and it's only now that things have settled down a bit more that I felt able to come and chat to you all. So anyway, moving on. You remember last time? I think it was last time. It might have been the time before, actually. I went through all my old projects, see what was hanging around. It was last time. See what was hanging around. See what I was going to get rid of. See what I was going to keep and work on and stuff. Anyway, so I was looking for something the other day. I came across another project I missed. This is actually a sewing project, but I thought I'd show you anyway. So I made this is one of my bucket bags that I made. Look at this, it's got Harry Potter on. I love this fabric. And then I've lined it with this lovely sort of polka dot green. Love it. Okay, so this is I think it's called sashiko, which is interesting. Oh, I've just found a knitting pattern in here as well. I didn't know that was in here. No idea. That looks like it's a mitten pattern. I'll look at that later. I didn't even know that was in there. Okay, so yes, I think this is called sashiko. Oh, there's a pair of scissors in there that I didn't know they were. Wondered where they'd gone. Right, let me find the bit that's actually got on. So it's actually to make a little project bag. And I've actually almost finished it. In fact, look, I have finished it. If I hold this closer, you see, this is all hand stitched. I didn't realise I'd actually, oh look, no, I've just got the bottom to do. I had no idea I was so close. Oh, I've no excuse, have I? I really need to make this up. It was really, really relaxing to do. Look, I've missed another bit in that corner there as well. It was really relaxing. I've always wanted to have a go at sashiko, and I was absolutely smitten with it. Why did I put this on one side? Right. So there you go. So I will make this up. Now I found it. Now I found how close I am. I assumed I was only like about a quarter of the way through or something. Right, so my lovely little starry ribbon, isn't that cute? So anyway, that was a surprise. I'd peeked in the bag, but I was like, oh, that's that. Oh, well, we'll talk about that in my next podcast. Didn't realise I was so close to finishing. That was a nice surprise. So the other thing, if you remember as well from my podcast, is I said I came across a project which I decided I wasn't going to keep. And it was a shawl that I'd be making out of, I think it was lace weight yarn, and I didn't, let me show you anyway. So it came in this rather sweet little project bag, which I've had for years, little book bag. It's got a tiny little pocket on the front. And so this is the yarn, and this is how far I'd got with the project, i.e. not far, and it just wasn't doing anything for me at all. The pattern that I used was it's the omelette shawl, which is from Knitty, and it's really, really beautiful. And, you know, it may be that at some point in the future I decide to have another go at it, but I was just not, it wasn't sparking joy, as Marie Kondo likes to say. So anyway, I offered it up and I said, if anybody would like it, please shout, and I will send it to you. Either I'll send you just the yarn, or I'll send you the half-started project, or whatever you would like. Anyway, Soxy Nana Alice posted in the comments and said she would like it. So Soxy Nana, this is for you. I will send it off to you with the bag. Let me know if you would like me to send you the half completed pattern as it is, the half completed knitting as it is, or whether you'd like me to pull it back. And I will also put the pattern in there for you as well, and then if you want to have a go at that pattern, you can have a go, because it really is a really lovely pattern. And I seem to remember as well, it was really easy to do. So I will send that off to you. So if you email me on miaoucrafts@gmail.com, so Miaou Crafts, all one word, @gmail.com, and I will, with your address, and I will put that in the post to you. Very exciting. It's quite nice to do a giveaway. So that's that. So another thing that I've been up to is I had a friend who had a very preemie baby, so I whipped up some baby clothes for her. And because I obviously needed to hand them over straight away, and in fact it's been almost a month since I did that, so I'm really glad that I thought to do it at the time. I recorded a video of the clothes that I had made, so I'm just going to pop that in here. Hello guys, this is a meow from the past, because I'm not quite ready to do a whole podcast yet. But I've just been knitting a couple of things that I wanted to show you just now, because I have to give them to the person they're going to today. So I won't have them to show you when I get around to do my podcast. So I'll put this in the middle of another video or something. So my friend, excuse me a minute. Beg your pardon. My friend has had a baby, and this baby is tiny, 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 tiny. It is 5 pounds and 3 ounces, or it was when I saw her on Tuesday. I've never held a baby so small. She was so small, her head just fit into the palm of my hand, and she was sort of like, her body sort of stopped about there. She's absolutely adorable, so tiny. But my poor friend is really having trouble getting hold of clothes to fit, because she's so small that she just can't find clothes, you know, to fit her. And actually buying preemie clothes can be quite pricey. So I was just like, never fear, knitting needles to the rescue. So me and a couple of friends, you know, we're putting together some things for her. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you what I've been knitting. I've just written down what they are. So this is the first one. This is the Preemie Wrap Cardigan by Angela Louise Wood. Look at the size of it. It is so cute. It really is so cute. But you can see, when I say like the size of her, you can see this is going to be generous on her, you know. Oh my goodness. So all it is, I just use this, the yarn I've used. You may remember you've seen it before, if you follow my vlogs before. I think I might have showed you, I made a teddy bear out of this yarn, and this is just what I had left over. It's so sweet, and it's just a, you know, a self-striping yarn like this. It's a DK, and it's from Poundland, of all places, and I think it was, I can never remember whether it's 3 balls for £2 or 2 balls for £3, but either way, it's not a lot, it's not a lot of money, but it's actually really pretty and it knits up really well. So I made this. So then I thought I really need to do some little trousers to match. Look at this, these are so cute. So they've got a higher back like this, so it helps sort of, you know, so when you put them on, and obviously because when you've got a nappy in, you need that little bit of extra support. And obviously you don't want elastic in around that tiny, tiny little waist. And it's got little turn-up cuffs on the bottom. Oh, again, it's this lovely yarn. I've this the cardigan I did it in on 4mm needles. The trousers called for a slightly thinner yarn, so actually I ended up using 3mm needles. So the trousers are Smarty Pants by Drops Design, and they'd actually done them in garter stitch, but I felt that was just going to be too bulky, given that I was using a slightly thicker wool than they recommended. So I just did this middle bit stocking stitch, but again, aren't they just so sweet? They really are. And believe it or not, well, obviously you do across here, and then you do down one leg, and then you do the other. And I didn't make any attempt to sort of matching the shades, and yet they've come out remarkably similar, haven't they? Yeah. So really pleased with those. Anyway, again, they'll be huge on her. Look, they look far too big. Oh dear. Honestly, this is the smallest preemie size as well. And then I also did this little jacket, which I do think is going to fit her now. Oh my goodness, look at this. How cute! How cute is this? So this is a pattern called Lazy Daisy Cardigan by Mariana Mel. And Mariana Mel is, I should say, all these patterns are free on Ravelry. Mariana Mel does lots and lots of patterns for preemie babies, and they're all free, and they're all really, really sweet, super easy to knit up. Her instructions are very clear. I think from what I've read, she's designed them for people to knit, do charity knitting for babies that are in hospital. And she's, you know, she quite often she'll put small preemie, medium preemie, large preemie. So, you know, they're sort of, you know, various different sizes. But do go and have a look. If ever you need to knit for a preemie baby, do go and have a look at Mariana Mel's patterns, because they really are lovely. Look, isn't this sweet? Just this lovely little detail on here. Yeah, just look at the size of it. I know. And I did a little hat to go with that. I just made up the pattern for the hat. Look at that. I think that might fit her at the moment. I just with a little stalk on the top. I do. It's such an easy pattern. All you do, I mean, I just had to choose how many stitches round I needed, and then I think I started with 45 stitches. Just knit till it was this, and then sort of decreased evenly round the top until I had 4 left, and then I did this sort of I-cord top, which until it was long enough so I could do in a knot. So this yarn, bear with me, is Sirdar Snuggly Crofter. Sorry, the label's backwards as usual. Here we go. Sirdar Snuggly Crofter, shade 165. And it does this sort of lovely little Fair Isle effect. You can see it really well on here. Now these, I always knit in circular needles, but because this was so small, I ended up knitting it on DPNs. And I don't like knitting on DPNs because I always end up with these little lines in where I've changed needles. But, you know, it made it so much faster. So, you know, so I did. I'm actually just doing one more hat at the moment. I'm using, I've got this, whoops. So I've got this pale pink yarn, and then I've got this white fluffy yarn as well. You can see one of my needles in there. So I've almost finished this. I've just got up to the top. This is much thicker and much stiffer, so it's made a slightly bigger hat, but also be slightly warmer. So I'm just up near the top now, and I'm just about to do the final decreases and make the I-cord. So I shall finish this off this afternoon, and then I shall give it to my friend. I shall give it to a friend who's going to give it to that friend tomorrow, if you see what I mean. So yeah, so I just thought I'd show you these before they disappeared forever. So all my plans for knitting and everything got put on hold because my friend had this baby. There we go. I'm really looking forward to be able to seeing her in them. And I hope they fit. And because they're so quick to knit, and I just use yarn that I had in, I don't mind if they only fitted for a couple of weeks. It must be a real pain trying to sort of dress a baby in clothes that are just far too big for it. So it'd be nice to have something that just fits. So there we go, that's what I have been up to this last few days. See you later. So they were really sweet, aren't they? Really lovely. My hair looked much better in that video than it does here. Red hair. I haven't had a shower yet today, sorry. Yeah, so that was really sweet. It was lovely to be able to do. She really loved the clothes. They didn't fit for very long, but I think she was very grateful to have them, and a few friends also knitted some other things for her as well, so she had quite a few to go at. So now on to finished projects. If you remember my last video, I think I was just about to start knitting the Slow Deer sweater. Sorry, excuse me, just reaching over for the pattern. So that's this one. Slow Deer means trail in Icelandic. I'm probably pronouncing it completely wrong. In fact, I did Google how to say it, and it's not far out. It's something like Slödir, something like that. Really sorry if anybody Icelandic is listening and you really mangle that. Should have looked it up again more recently, shouldn't I? So anyway, this is the sweater. Really sweet, lovely sort of design. All different sort of like animal prints on it. And I showed you the yarn that had been chosen, which my youngest chose, and they'd chosen sort of teal and green colours with a bit of grey in. And I was going to show you the progress on the sweater, but it's been so long, I've actually finished it. So anyway, here it is. Which way around are we? That way. There we go. So I'm really pleased with the way this came out. And so are they. They've had it on pretty much constantly ever since I gave it to them. It only comes off to go to bed and go to school. So look, you can see you've got bird tracks, deer hoof prints. I can't remember what that one is, and that's bear. So yeah, and the colours I think actually work pretty well together. I was a bit worried that they were too samey, you know, that the colour values were sort of, particularly this sort of blue I thought was a bit close to the grey in the main part of the sweater, but actually I think it actually works out okay. We did fiddle around quite a lot with the colours, and you know, we really did have to sort of play with you know, the different colour values and stuff. We did lots of swatches and sort of talked about the different colour values and things. But I think it came out pretty well. They're absolutely delighted with it. And there's a little detail on the sleeve as well. Little bird prints on the sleeve. So oh, have some of them got? No, it's just the way it's sewn. It looks like some of them have got longer bits in than others, but it's that's where the join is. That's why. So I thought I'd done something wrong there. No, but yes, really nice. I really love the gradation of the colours on the neckline. Oh, and I put my little label in it as well, so they know which is the front, which is the back. This you can't tell because it's backwards, and for some reason the light quality on this video is appalling. But it says handmade by Miaou in rainbow colours because I love rainbows. So yeah, finished project, huge. Oh, we had a bit of a disaster though, because we'd measured and measured and measured to make sure we got the right size, and we sort of we measured. They put on a jumper that they really like the size and the style of, and also like, you know, so we wanted it this long, and when we measured up, it was like, oh, I think they need an extra bit of length in it. And when we looked at the picture of the pattern, what have I done with it? See, it just falls on his waist. And Ember said, oh no, I want it a bit longer than that. Well, of course, what we hadn't taken into account was, of course, this was a model. So, of course, they're like tall and willowy, aren't they? So where it sat a little bit short on this guy, it wasn't going to sit short on my kid, who's not particularly tall in stature. I always say we're a family of hobbits. We're all quite little in this family. I'm not quite 5'2", and my teens are about 5'6", I think. I think the tallest one is 5'6", and the other two are sort of 5'2" and 5'4". So we're all pretty much on the small side. So anyway, not realising this, I said, okay, no problem, I'll put extra length in. So I added an extra 10 centimetres to the length. Well, honestly, I finished, and it's bottom up as well. So it's not even top down. So I couldn't even put it on as we were going. That was kind of, I think I wouldn't pick another bottom up sweater if I'd realised. I would always stick with top down, because you can try it on then as you're going. And so I got to the point where I cast off on the neck, bind off, perhaps you call it, cast off on the neck, and still got all the ends to sew in. I still had to join under the arms and everything, and I said, just try it on, let's have a look. Well, they put it on, and it was like a dress. Oh my goodness, it came right down below the bottom, right down to sort of mid-thigh level, and we just looked at it and went, oh no, that was a mistake, wasn't it? And I was like, how are we going to pull this back now, because it's bottom up, you know, it's not like top down where you can just pull it and it just goes. So in the end, what I ended up doing was we put pins in where we wanted the bottom to be, and I took a pair of scissors to my knitting, and I basically cut all the way round, pulled off all the little bits that were, you know, not needed, until I had a sort of a round of live stitches, and then picked up the stitches on a fine needle. It's much easier picking them up on a fine needle than on the needle that you're actually using to knit. So I knit this with this is Aran weight yarn. So I knitted it on a 4.5 needle. But when I went round and picked the stitches up, I did it with a 3mm needle, because then the needle just slides through the stitches really easily without catching on them, because obviously the stitches were at tension for a 4.5mm needle. So if I started pushing it through, it would then start pulling at the yarn, and obviously I had a whole round of live stitches to sort of pick up, and that worked really well. And then of course, once I'd done that, I could then, because I had interchangeable needles, I could then just swap the needles over, swap the points over for the right size, and then carry on knitting around. So I then knit down, and I did the hem. So I did the thing. So I actually, this is where I sort of knitted, because obviously I only just did it to just above where we wanted the rib. And then, you know, I changed to the smaller needle, and I did the rib at the bottom. And I find my cast off is a little bit, it's fine for a neck, but it can be a little bit tight for the base of a sweater. So I used, it's called Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off. Jenny spelt Jeny. I'm sure you'll have come across it before, but if you haven't, do have a look. I can never do it without checking, because I don't do it often enough. I can never do it without actually checking exactly how to do it. But it's relatively straightforward. It just involves sort of doing yarn overs the opposite way to what you expect to, so you have to think about it a little bit. But then it does make this nice stretchy bind off, which means I didn't have to sort of loosen my tension in order to make it do, and hopefully it won't stretch out or sag. We will see over time whether it does. I maybe need to hang on to a little bit of wool in case I need to pull it back and redo it if it overstretches, but I don't think it will. But obviously this sweater belongs to a teenager. I did it in Starcraft Special Aran weight, and the reason I did it in Starcraft is it's acrylic, it can go in the washing machine, it can go in the dryer. Hopefully it will stay in one piece. But I have to say, my oldest son and his spouse, I knitted them both sweaters with a sort of a yoke, yoke design on it, and they've held up really well, and they wear them and wear them and wear them. They're very knit worthy, but they're not great at looking after knits. Anyway, I thought I might as well just show you my floats because I'm quite pleased with these. Look. Look at that. Now, I love Fair Isle. I love the look of it. I've never been great at doing floats. I always end up pulling it too tight. And I consider this to be a huge success for me because it's probably one of the first times I've managed to do it and not pull it too tight. And part of it, I think, is just being mindful of it. And part of it, I think, is just knitting it in the round. So it is a little bit bumpy in places. You can see if you sort of see in the light, it's just a little bit, there's a little bit of pulling. But I'm hoping that will actually settle down as they wear the sweater. I didn't block it, partly because it's acrylic and partly because my team just couldn't wait to put it on. You know what they're like. So there we go. My started and finished sweater since I last spoke to you. I was hoping to show you progress updates, but no, I just ended up powering right through it. Knitting is a great comfort, I think, when you're stressed. I'm sure you all find that as well. So yeah, it was good to have that to do, actually, take my mind off things. So I got it finished. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is my floor cushion. So if you remember, I started my floor cushion ages and ages ago, and I decided, I put it on one side, I hadn't done it on it for a while, and then I decided I was going to have a final push and I was going to get it done. And it is finished. I'm so pleased with it. So I'm actually going to take you to come and have a look at it in situ, as it were, rather than try and hold it up to the camera. So bear with me a minute. Right, so I'm in my living room, and I'm just going to sort of turn the camera around, and then you can actually see what I did. Bear with. Okay, so here we are. Now, really, if I thought about this, I should have tidied up this corner a little bit first, shouldn't I? Okay, so here is my finished cushion. Just pull it forward a bit. I am so pleased with this. It has come out really well, and although this is quite a dull day today, you can see the really beautiful colours, the way they've all come out. Really does look really pretty. I'm really pleased with the way the colours came out. It is pretty much as I had hoped. And this is fairly true to the colours. This actually coming out a little bit brighter than it was. This is a slightly duller pink in real life, but the other colours are coming out really true. And I got this wonderful oops, what's that on there? I've got this wonderful sort of pom-pom edging. I think this was the most expensive part of the project. I think I spent £4 on that. It was about, or £4.50, I think it was £1.50 a metre, and I got 3 metres of it, and I was really glad. I didn't think I'd need that much, but I was really glad I did, because I only had about 30 centimetres left. And then the back, I'll just flip it over. So the back is this amazing, lovely fabric. It is, again, it's really sort of blowing out the colour here a bit. It's actually quite a deep purple. It's looking rather more like fuchsia here, but you have to take my word for it. It is more of a deep purple. And this was an old curtain that I found in a charity shop, and I just got it along in a big bundle of other things. I can't remember how much I paid for them all, but I think I paid about a £5 for a huge bag of stuff. So, you know, it cost me pence literally. And the zip was one that I got in a charity shop, and again they were selling, I think it was 3 for £1. So the zip cost me like 33p. So yeah, the most expensive part of the project was the trim, but it was definitely worth it. And obviously I had paid for this yarn originally, but cats bring grass in on their feet. I had paid for this yarn originally. Some of it was given to me though, so it was, it was all gifts. So yeah, the pattern is the 10 stitch twist by Frankie. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Frankie gives really detailed instructions. I've actually put this on upside down according to the pattern. She has it the other way up with quite sort of prominent ridges, but I didn't like the ridges. I felt they sort of pulled attention away from the actual colour of the colour work. And what I did with this is it's sock yarn, and I held 2 strands together, and I would just change one colour at a time, which is how you get this nice sort of segue between different colours. You can see all these sort of multicolours sort of coming through the yarn. So yeah, a really, really lovely project. Great way to use up sort of yarn, and yeah, I'm just really, really pleased with it. So there we go. Oh, here I am back again. Right, quick slurp of tea. Sorry if you have to listen to me slurping. I was a bit thirsty. Okay, so that was my second finished project, and then my last finished project. Well, it's a finished project. I'm calling it finished. I still have to kitchen stitch the toes, but I finished my stripy socks. So these are my go-to socks that I always have a pair of socks on the go in a little bag. It's my little bag. So that I've always got something handy that I can just pick up and work on whenever I'm sort of got some free time. So it's always, I like to take it in my handbag if I'm sitting in the doctor's waiting for an appointment, or, anything like that. Sort of standing in a long queue, I've been known to whip it out. So yeah, and I managed to finish these. So these are my stripy socks, and the stripes just about match. Not completely, but I think you'd be hard pressed to see where things didn't quite go to plan. So I'm calling myself pretty happy with these. It's they're a pretty good match. So yeah, I just ran some thread through the bottom of the of this one, of each of them, and so I need to go back and pick up the stitches and just kitchen stitch them together, and then I'll be able to wear those. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with those. The yarn is Sirdar Heart and Soul. It's backwards, of course. There we go. Sirdar Heart and Soul. It's a 4-ply sock yarn. Yeah, 100. That was 100 grams. So 25% nylon, 75% wool, and you really can feel the pure wool content in them. They are quite woolly, as opposed to really, really soft, if you like. But they're good hard wearing, and they'll be lovely and warm, these socks. So yeah, and I love the way the stripes have come out. They're really jolly, aren't they? So yeah, I'm going to finish those off, and then they can go in my sock drawer. Next time I can put those on. So I've got another pair of socks on the go. So as soon as I'm coming close to the end of a pair of socks, I always put an extra ball of yarn in my bag just in case. Well, where I was the other day, I did actually finish off. So I ran the thread through the sock, through the toes of the one I've just finished, and then I went and picked up my new yarn, my new ball of yarn, and immediately cast on for a new pair. Everybody was very, very amused. So anyway, I started this new pair, and oh my goodness, it is the most beautiful yarn. And I did have the ball band, and I have lost it. I don't know where it has gone. But look at this beautiful yarn. And look, there's a blue in the centre. I'm not sure whether it's just solid blue. I think it is solid blue. It's very interesting, isn't it? I didn't ball this up. This was given to me by a friend who basically said, look, I've got more sock yarn that I'm ever going to use. Here's some stuff which I don't think I'm going to get around to. So she gave me this yarn, and look how it is knitting up. Isn't that just really beautiful? I did think momentarily about doing a pattern, and I just thought, no, I'm just loving the colours in this yarn. It is really, really pretty. See if it'll focus on that. It's really, really lovely, isn't it? So yeah, so I started this, and I keep picking it up. I have got other projects I want to get on with, and I keep going back to this because it's just really nice and soft as well. I wish I knew what it was. It might be Yarwool, you know, German make, isn't it? Jawooll, Yarwool probably, isn't it? Might be that one. I don't know, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's my project that's on the go. The socks that are on the go. And so what else can I, oh yes, just before I show you any more projects, I'm going to show you something else that I've been doing. So I made myself a New Year's resolution this year that I was going to send everybody in my family birthday cards. And so what I did was I went to the shops in January, like first thing in January, I think, first couple of days of January, and I bought birthday cards for the whole year. So I think I bought something like 35 birthday cards, and each one I had a list of all the people I needed to buy for, and I didn't sort of just pick random ones. It was just like, oh, that'll do for so and so, that will do for so and so. And then as soon as I bought them, we went and sat in a cafe, and I wrote just inside the flap of the envelope the name of the person who it's going to, so that then I would know who it was going to. Anyway, the other thing I love to do is I love to decorate my envelopes, and I just feel it makes a card a bit more special. So I thought I'd show you some of the ones that I've done that I've yet to send off. So I've put a sticky over the actual address so you can't see where it's going. I hope this shows up. So this one I've done, because it's a coloured envelope, I've not put any colour on it, but it's like an art gallery with the little sort of barriers up against the address one. This one is going to my mum. So I did beautiful sort of spring of flowers on that one. This one's going to my brother-in-law. So I quite like that one. Just nice and simple. And this one's going to one of my nephews. So his address sort of goes like that in there. And that's like a beam of light coming down. So I have quite a lot of fun with these. I usually do actually more of a sort of, in fact, let me show you this other one that I've just been doing. Bear with me. So this is to one of my kids that lives up in Scotland. I'm just borrowing the post-it notes to stick over her address. Bear with me. I should have thought this out, shouldn't I? Right, okay, there we go. So this is one that I quite like to do a lot. So I do a big sort of signpost standing in a field, and then trees, and you know, big tree at the side and things. And quite often I'll put like little sheep on or something, or a little fence running along the top. So or a little house in the distance. So yeah, so I really enjoy it. It's really great fun, and it just makes it. Everybody's always really, really delighted to receive an envelope with a picture on. I think it just makes people's day. So I'm no great artist, but I love drawing, and I don't think not being a great artist is a reason not to do it. You know, why not? Just have fun. You know, that's why not. You know. Right. Something else I meant to tell you as well before I go any further. I am going to the East Anglia Yarn Festival which is on the 17th of March. So I'm really looking forward to going. That's the Saturday. I have signed up as a content creator, which really makes me laugh because, I mean, this is so amateur, my videos. They really are. But I just have so much fun doing it. I really do. So I thought, why not? So hopefully I will take my camera, I will film a little bit as I'm going round. I'm hoping to see Stitched by Mrs. D there because she has a stall. I am super excited. I absolutely love her stuff. I really do. And I just love watching her podcasts and all the stuff that she talks about and everything. She's really great. She was really funny. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing her there. And seeing who else is around and see if I recognise any other people. And if anybody sees me and recognises me, please come up and say hello. I think the hair is a bit of a giveaway. So I shall be wandering around and seeing what I can find and trying not to spend too much money, but I'm sure I'll end up buying a few things because that's what you do, isn't it, at yarn festivals? But it's just nice to see what's going on, you know. So that's what's in my plans coming up. What else can I tell you? I don't know whether this is something this is probably just UK only that's come out, but we have a magazine called Simply Crochet, and I spotted this on Facebook and I was like, oh my goodness, I absolutely have to have this. I'm sure you'll have seen it. Bear with me a second. It is, oops, the Flower Fairies calendar. Oh my goodness, I saw it and I was just like, oh my goodness, just look at those beautiful patterns. Aren't they just gorgeous? I just love this. I don't tend to do an awful lot of amigurumi because I do find it fiddly and annoying, but I so love the finished results. I'm just like, I had to have this. I absolutely had to have this. I am so looking forward to actually just trying some of these out and just seeing the Flower Fairies, the original Flower Fairies. You can see the pictures here. I used to have these. I have to have these on my wall as a child, and I think I've probably still got somewhere the sort of a frieze, you would call it, wouldn't you? Where sort of all went round the walls of all the different Flower Fairies. Cecily Mary Barker, she was called, and she wrote little poems in about each of them. They were so sweet, and I just think these are a really lovely interpretation of them. I'm really glad they didn't go overly simple. They're quite tricky to do. There's an awful lot of increases and decreases. You just got to look at the legs to see, you know, there's a lot of shaping involved. Because I did see what's she called, Crafty Clegg's Creations. She's another podcaster. Do have a look. She's really great. She's from the north of England. She does lots of crochet, lots of amigurumi stuff, and she does some knitting as well. And she's made the January one, which is this guy here, the holly one. And she was saying she might make them all. And the result was just so sweet. It really was. They were just absolutely lovely. So yeah, whether or not I'll ever get round to them at all, I don't know, but I'm so pleased to actually have this and have all the patterns in. Really delighted. So that was my happy purchase of January, but it took till now to arrive. I think it only arrived a couple of days ago. I think they were a lot more popular than they realised. So I've shown you my new socks that I've got on the go. And I've also got a sweater on the go for me now. Now, I can't remember whether I showed you the yarn for this before or not. Let me just get it and then I will show you. Oops, that was a bit harder than I expected. Right, so I've got it all in this lovely project bag, which is one a friend gave to me. Special knitting bag. It's supposed to do up, but it doesn't because it's got too much yarn in. So I've got lots and lots of leftover, and I think this is mostly merino mix. It is lovely and soft. I have got this really lovely sort of bluey, actually that's coming up really true, a lovely bluey grey colour. I have this warm mild pink. That's coming up brighter. That is not quite as bright as it looks in here. It's more like, you can see the colour in the shadow of my hand. It's more like that colour. Then I have this lovely multicoloured, again, I've lost the label. I can't remember now what it is, but I do seem to remember it was a merino mix skein that I got. And I do remember where it came from. It came from the Fluffatorium. Isn't that a wonderful word? The Fluffatorium in Dorking. Corking Dorking, as we always say, which is down in Surrey. If ever you get to go to Dorking, go to the Fluffatorium. It is the most wonderful shop. It's run by a lady called Gillian. I only know her as Gillian Gladrag. She does a lot of felting. Felting is her main thing, and there's loads and loads of stuff, you know, there to do with felting. But she also does really lovely selections of yarn as well. And I did some shop knits for her, you know, sort of displays to go in the shops, and I got paid in store credit, which is absolutely wonderful because I got some fabulous stuff. So in fact, actually, I got this tin from her as well, which is what I keep all my post-it notes in. Of all things. Anyway, I'm going off subject now. So anyway, so I've got those three colours and this lovely deep sort of tealy blue. Again, that colour, actually this is coming up a little bit darker. It is, you can see the light on it there. It's really lovely colour. So I've got those four, and then I put them with cream because I felt they needed a lift. So if I hold all these together, there, you can see what sort of a nice sort of impact it makes. Yeah, it looks pretty nice, doesn't it? So I've started on this, and I am knitting the Driftwood sweater by Isabel Kramer. I keep getting it caught up in my hair. Hang on. Do that. I always say everybody who gets something knitted always gets a piece of me in the knitting, usually in the form of strands of hair knitted into the project. So this is how it's coming up, and I'm really pleased with the way it's coming up. Isn't it lovely? I really wasn't sure about the cream, but I asked my second eldest when I was on the phone last night, and they said yes, it definitely needs the cream because otherwise it would just be too dark. It just lifts it, but it's so lovely and soft. The cream is actually West Yorkshire Spinners, Aire Valley in Arran. The others don't have a label. I'm afraid I don't know what they are, but I love them because of all the sort of the marl in the colours, the sort of, you know, those lovely sort of mixed yarns. So yeah, the pattern, as I said, is Driftwood. Bear with me a second and I will show you, in case you have not seen the Driftwood pattern before. It's a very popular one. So this is what it will look like when it's done, except obviously my stripes are multi. I have made the Driftwood sweater before, and I made it with lots and lots of sort of scraps of leftover yarn, and it was great actually, really lovely, but it's a little bit on the small side now, so I am doing it in a slightly larger size. This, I think I said, didn't I? It's by Isabel Kramer, and it is a free pattern on Ravelry, and yeah, I just love it. I really love it. So I can't wait to get this finished and be able to put this sweater on. So that's my big project that I'm on with at the moment. And then what else am I up to? Oh, right. Okay, so this is my next project in the planning. And planning is about as far as I have got. So I was watching Soxy Nana Alice, who I mentioned before, and she had done a Fair Isle scarf with all her leftover sort of sock yarn scraps. and sort of fingering weight scraps. And oh my goodness, it was so beautiful. And I just thought, you know, that's what I really want to do next with my leftover bits. So I gathered together my big bowl, which I'd had used before when I was doing my floor cushion. You might remember I kept holding it up in the big bowl, all the yarns that I had. So I thought, all right, I'm going to gather together all my solids, and we're going to use those, because I think with Fair Isle there's so much detail in it that if you use a yarn, you can get away with a mild yarn, but not a striped yarn, and not one that's got speckles in, because it just disrupts the pattern, and the pattern is key. And obviously you need that good balance between the dark and the light, so you get the patterns in. So anyway, let me show you. This is my basket of all my sort of solid and mild yarns. It's so huge. I mean, I can't even. Anyway, what I'll do, I picked out lots of grey the other day I had a bag full of sort of grey and dark bits, and I thought, well, those are excellent just to do the contrast, you know, if you're needing a good contrast with a coloured yarn. But let me just show you some of the coloured yarns I've got. So again, almost all of these were given to me by lovely friends who just said, I can't do anything with them. One or two I have bought, mostly given to me. So I've got all these beautiful little mini skeins. I thought I can probably get away with that one if I use it against like a dark colour, but I'm not sure actually, looking at it now. And I have got plenty to go at. I might keep it for something else. Okay, so then if I hang on, I'll try and lift it up again, although I might lose more flotsam and jetsam as we go. But that is basically my colour palette. You know me, I love a bit of colour, and that is definitely ticking the colour boxes. The only thing I don't have a lot of is green. I've got that little bit, and that's all. Isn't that strange? I don't have a lot of green. Very odd. Anyway, so those are the colours that I'm using. Sorry, I'm just moving these back in here so that I can push this out the way again, because at the moment it's like here and I can't move. There we go. So the book that I'm going to use to do the patterns from is this one, which I have showed you before. 200 Fair Isle Designs, which is by Mary Jane Mucklestone. Again, very famous designer for Fair Isle. It's a really lovely book. Everything's very clearly laid out. You know, you can see all the patterns, you know, and it's all very clear, you know, so what you need to do for them. Really lovely book. And to be honest, I think I'm probably just going to work my way through a load of those patterns with a bit of, maybe a bit of sort of plain striping in between or something. But I just want it to be really loud, really busy, and lots of colour. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to knit it in the round, so it's like a double scarf, so that way I don't have to worry too much about the ends or the back of it, because it's all just going to be contained, and I will, you know, kitchen stitch it together at the bottom. So I'm quite excited to start that, but I think that is going to be a really long-term project. The other thing is, so this basket has been sitting on my desk upstairs, which is in front of a Velux window, which gets the sun in the morning. My cat, one of my cats, Lily, in fact the one you saw earlier, discovered it. So now I have to keep a piece of fabric over the top, because otherwise she just sits in all the yarn and she just thinks she's in heaven, because it's absolutely full of white cat hair at the moment. Anyway, there we go. Such are the joys of having animals, hey? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. I think that's probably quite a long video because I've stopped it in various places. I'm not quite sure how long, so well done for bearing with me if you got this far. So yeah, Soxinala Alice, please get in touch with me on my email, and I will send off the yarn to you. And hopefully I will see you soon, and not quite as long. as it was this time. We'll see how much real life gets in the way, hey? Bye.